Okay, so already just no, I don't regret Emilie. However, I feel like she should do more damage. Now, let's go into a weapon immediately because this is what would be replaced if I had, gotten her weapon, which definitely is a, it's a thing, but I feel like, the difference between Staff of Homa and, her actual damage with her new weapon is not actually that insane, right? I'm gonna be honest, guys. It's a 36% damage bonus is really where you're looking at a difference. And Staff of Homa, my R2 Staff of Homa specifically, is giving her an extra, like 100 attack on top of that. So it's not, 100 attack. Wow. Okay, yeah, sure. But like seriously though. Okay, so I wanted to show what I'm talking about here, basically. So what I'm talking about is basically we're gonna have, but we have it at level 90 here, and we can see refinement 1, right? And we're going to take it against my R2 Staff of Homa, which will show the difference. So we can see over here, you guys should be able to see that. Yeah, 13,000 right here. So you can see 13,000 right here, and then 6,400, and then the burst damage is at 35,000, right? That's the main things that we need to be looking at here. Now, I have a crit damage. This is basically a different version, literally just altered to be a crit damage version of what I have currently, which I will show here. It should be like this and this button, and we have this. This is my current, set thing that I'm using. And if you don't know exactly how everyone always describes it, you want a 1-to-2 ratio with your crit damage because you get 2 times the crit damage. So basically, I just half the crit damage on this and turn it into crit rate. So now we basically have exactly the same rules across my Emilie build entirely. So we're able to see a very equal difference, right? You can see 35,000, 13,000, 6,400, right? So then we're going to go to Staff of Homa. We're going to R2 it, right? And we're going to level 90 it. And I'm not going to go below 50% HP, although with Emilie, since she's an all-field character, you could try and trigger that. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab our crit rate version of this. And you can see that we go down to 33,000, 13,000, and 6,000. I mean, there's not much of a difference. There really isn't. And it's not, I'm using level 10 talents. This is exactly my Emilie build. Now, if I go below 50% HP, it's actually sort of, is that better? No, it wouldn't be. Hold on. I need to actually go back and look at the numbers real quick. Yep, we'll grab that. Okay, yep, 2 stacks there. And then we will go ahead, inventory, give me my crit damage version, 35,000. So if I get below the HP, the damage doesn't actually change, which was what I'm getting at, right? It's really just the consistency of how much you can get her burst, which it's not that big, right? It's not like her burst is some huge thing for her kit. You can survive with just that E skill up, but it does do a lot of damage, which is why, and also I'm using Bennett with plus noblesse oblige, right? So, yeah, basically, and it is important to note that I can increase my Emilie's damage by maybe using Ito and Toma. I don't know. We'll have to see. I want to crown my Toma before I start trying to run Deepwood on him and then try run Burning Set for Emilie. We'll see if that ever, helps out. But overall, the Burning Set that I have is definitely worse than this. And it's just like by far, this is so much more of a better build, honestly. So yeah, that's why I'm like, the damage doesn't really change. I feel like a lot of people were overestimating. Like I had 2 different people tell me her weapon is like so huge for her, and it's like, yeah, sure, if you're gonna reconfigure for like energy recharge, right? So you can like reconfigure for energy recharge and get extra stats, but it's not as huge as you would think, right? I just wanted to put that out there. It's not going to be that huge. Getting these, lesser energy recharge rolls, they're not necessarily going to go into crit or crit damage, right? They're not. Maybe your attack can be higher, right? But overall, I just wouldn't, But overall, I'm just going to say probably not. So, yeah. I just wanted to put that out there. And, yeah, so that's going to be for this section. Go back into the main video. And then the consistency of her burst, which I've tried to look past very much so, because I do believe in, like, if you're willing to, care about a character enough to summon for him and get their, you should get their weapon also, right? So I've looked past a lot of her energy problems that I've, had, and because it's just not actually an issue because she has her weapon, which I believe is definitely something that I should have, but I don't have I'm broke, guys. You know, become a member today. Yeah, in the description, you can click the join button, you know, not in the description. I think it's just right by the subscribe button, which you should also press. But yeah, no, basically, I'm broke. I don't have a weapon. So we have staff of Homa. Yeah, that thing. R2. It's pretty good. It's not, so what I'm trying to say is the damage difference is not that much. So she would be able to do more damage. So she wouldn't be doing that much more damage compared to when she has her weapon. It's just not something that you're going to see really. So when I say I would like, you know, 20% more damage just overall for her, I think that is where I would, you know, like, come on. Like, can we get 20% more damage overall? So just as a support character, I just don't think she really, like, is enough for being, like, hindered by burn. Like, I like her design of being, like, you know, hindered, you know, towards burn, right? You really want to get burn. It, like, actually, this passive, like, doubles her damage or something, right? And this is also in kind of, you know, in line with the, you know, 36%. Really isn't going to do much for her, because you already have, like, Dendro damage bonus, wherever that is. Yeah, you already have 60% Dendro damage bonus. Then you're going to add another 36% with just the extra attack that you have. And she is, like, very limited towards burn because, I mean, you can't upgrade this to level 2 if you don't have burning. You don't. You just don't. When opponents are affected by burning, they will give off sense. You don't get that if you're not running burn. You don't. So you really do lose a lot if you're not running burn team because you lose the level 2 of this, which basically, like, doubles its damage or something. Yeah, over doubles its damage because you're doing 71 here and then you're doing 151 twice. So you're doing 300% and you're doing 70% as level 1. So your damage gets down really bad. So your damage goes down really bad. And then also I think this also has its damage decrease. It might be just this, right? It might just be this that decreases the, you know, burst damage. And don't forget, yeah, that does also decrease this damage too. So yeah, overall, her damage is very much so locked towards burn. And I feel like because of that, she should do a little bit more. I feel like it's a little undertuned. I'm going to be honest. I feel like maybe she should do more. Just because it's such a, like, I don't want to say, because, like, Arlecchino can use it, right? And I haven't even brought up Arlecchino. Just because my Arlecchino is just so strong that Emilie makes the team barely a difference because she doesn't do enough damage. Is really, I guess that's kind of where I'm coming from, where it's just like, she doesn't really do a lot of damage. And then, you know, Wriothesley, you know, this is one character that she really helps out because now I have a proper burn team for Wriothesley, which just makes him so much better. You know, and you don't have to rely on Nahida's, you know, E-skill and have all that. I have not tested with Chloride, but I do think that she probably would work pretty well. I do think that Chloride's actual damage, though, would go down quite a bit because beforehand, you would get Nahida's EM, and that would, you know, help you out a little bit. But now you don't. So I'm very curious to see, can she, you know, make it up? Because once again, she's locked to burning. We're not going to be burning unless you're running like Chloride Overload or something maybe. But then you want Chevy, and I'm pretty sure Chevy wants only Pyro and Electro characters. So then she's kind of, it's kind of like, you know, she's kind of stuck in a rut. Her damage isn't going to be that good. Come on. Like, yeah, I do think that she should have gotten a little bit more damage. But overall, she's a good character. Her burst hits pretty hard, and then her E-skill is pretty good for her application and actual damage. So overall, very good character, just kind of, you know, niche, very good. But not necessarily that niche. It's weird. It's weird. We're going to get a new character that's probably going to work with her, wink, wink. You know, so I'm expecting her to be very usable in the near future. I just wish that, you know, as a character herself, I wish her damage was a little bit more. Because it kind of feels like she's a little bit not as valuable. You know, it just feels like, you know, if you have this character, like, she doesn't feel like, you know, Kazuha, right? You know how Kazuha feels, and he's basically, you know, a buffer. But what if we had an off-field damage dealer that was doing really good damage to the point where, hey, you know, we don't always need to just have buffers that buff the main DPS, right? And that's sort of like what Chloride's whole team sort of is, right? But at the same time, it's not, because you want Fiorina, then you want Nahida, then you want Fischl, and then at that point, it's like, The official's like the only character on that team that's doing, you know, a lot of damage, right? And then Fiorina's doing off-field damage and buffing, right? So I just feel like she's so niche that I feel like she should be a little bit stronger for her niche, right? That's just all I feel about her. She just doesn't really strike me as like a must summon, you know, must get character until like, I don't know, man, because I still like Baiju still has some off-field Dendro application. I just personally don't have Baiju, so this is my only like way of getting proper like consistent off-field Dendro application, which is great. And people might, you know, mention Nahida, but I tell you this: if you kill an enemy, the new enemies don't spawn with Nahida's signature, right, or whatever it's called, doesn't, and then you're stuck there doing no Dendro application when you're a Dendro-based team. Would be very bad. So yeah, that's all my thoughts on Emilie. I think she's really good, but she should have been a little bit better, right? Just kind of have the same thoughts that I feel with like Flora. Like, yeah, she's really good. Should have probably been a little bit better. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.